Another one that I'm doing by request, people. Here's one that was recommended right here. Apparently, so the ratings on this movie also were pretty decent from what I'm seeing. And there's a couple things about this that surprised me. And before I get to that, let me just talk about what the ratings say right here. So Rotten Tomatoes gave it 59%. Again, not unusual for them. You have Common Sense Media gave it a 60%. Internet Movie Database, 73%. And then among Google users, you have 94 to 96%. And yeah, so I see on the chart of 1 to 5 stars, an overwhelmingly vast majority of the people who voted on this movie, they voted 5-star. There's few 1 to 4 stars here, but a great majority of it's 5. The movie is pretty successful so far. One person here says, if you told 5-year-old me this movie would exist, I probably wouldn't believe it. I didn't know what to expect going into this movie when it was first announced, but when I went to see it earlier today, it was everything from the animation, the game sounds, the acting, and the music. I really enjoyed it. Acting, I think we gave Chris Pratt the cold shoulder going into this because about 95% of the movie, it was on key. Anya will definitely be one of my new female actors besides Stephanie Sheh. She gave a leader and an amazing personality to Peach, hence why Peach is my favorite. And then a lot of that also talks about who the other actors and actresses are before I get to the cast setting. This person has a lot here. They're kind of spoiling a lot of the story and a lot of the animation, music. Overall, I give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. Definitely hoping for maybe a sequel or other spinoffs. And don't listen to the critics. They are wrong for this movie. This person here says 5 out of 5. Growing up, I played 8 Mario games. I loved Mario as a kid, so I'm anxious about this new animated adaptation of its source material by Illumination. Believe it or not, the Super Mario Bros. Movie was a joyous surprise for me. I had a blast from beginning to end. There aren't any flaws to scene for my taste. It's a fun, harmless, and never insults our intelligence. Directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, or Jelenic, however you pronounce that. If you had 9-year-old me, if you had told 9-year-old me that this film would exist one day, I probably wouldn't believe it. In all honesty, I didn't know what to expect. So that was pretty similar to what the other person said. Or was that posted twice? I don't know. Don't listen to the critics with their outrageous bias and bad reviews. Let's see. One person who's a 1-star saying, it's always really weird seeing a mediocre movie that is getting universally praised. Makes you feel crazy. The critics were close to right on this one for sure. Also, many of the 5-star reviews are very obviously fake, so be careful with that. Okay, well, how do we know they're fake? I mean, I don't know. I want to preface this all by saying I'm a huge Mario fan. I've played and owned every Mario game and had Mario and Peach cake toppers at my wedding. That did not help my enjoyment of the film at all. I don't expect too much from kids' movies as an adult, but I do expect them to at least be a little entertaining, and I don't think that's unreasonable giving masterpieces like Toy Story and Megamind. I didn't see Megamind, but I did see Toy Story. The Mario movie doesn't seem to be made with adults or children in mind. It's more like it was made for a very select audience of viewers who are stuck 20 years in the past and love outdated humor, slow motion shots. The story is nothing to write home about, and that's okay. It's definitely a problem when the story only exists to tell jokes, blah, blah, blah. So that's a 1-star right there. The same person also said, I don't think the people saying it's amazing are being honest. I can understand enjoying it, but the entire movie is littered with poor writing and humor from a bygone era. Maybe it's not Hollywood that's creatively bankrupt. Maybe it's the viewers and their low standards for anything that's like the good old days. Again, I've talked about stuff similar to that, and I do this a lot when I talk about movies and shows and games. It really just depends on who you ask. So, I mean, so I'll be honest with you. So me as a person, like I've played a little bit of the games in the past, not a lot. And even for somebody who's not a hardcore fan, I can look at the movie. Of course, I can spot some of the references. I know that some of the things that they did in there were obviously based off the games. How they kept jumping from, you know, one brick to another, or jumping into this, or having to keep retrying and restarting, getting this mission done. Like how a lot of games do. Part of that actually kind of reminded me of Donkey Kong. Now, me personally, I would give the movie about I would say maybe a 7. I think that's pretty reasonable for, for that type of movie. I don't think that it's as kid-like as what people expected it to be or what a lot of people are claiming. There were some scenes in there that definitely kind of kept the attention. And I would say that for what it was and for what it's worth, I'd say that, hey, you have a family of people and you got people who are still like fans of movies based off games. I'd say give it a watch. I don't think anything was really wrong with it. I think the dialogue made sense considering, who and what the characters were and the time it came from. And a bit of like nostalgia purposes and stuff like that. So I would say that it was pretty decent. In my own opinion, would I put it above certain other animated films and stuff that I talk about as far as like and again, this is just my opinion and we're free to disagree. I wouldn't put it above a Shrek or Incredibles or Shark Tale or Madagascar, Ice Age, movies like that. I still kind of prefer movies like them. But again, Mario deserves the credit where it's due. And now here's the surprising part. Now here's what I want to get to. Before I talk about what my surprise was, here's the brief synopsis. With help from Princess Peach, Mario gets ready to square off against an all-powerful Bowser to stop his plans from conquering the world. Now, here's the part that surprised me, because I was just told this the other day. This movie, and I'm looking for it right now, and I'm going to Wikipedia. This movie budgeted $100 million. Right now, the box office is already at just over $1 billion. I got to be honest with you. I was shocked. I was surprised. I did not see that happening with this movie. I thought like, okay, it's based off a video game. Most of the time, a lot of movies that are based off games are not taken as seriously. I mean, we saw that with Mortal Kombat, and a lot of people said the same thing about Street Fighter and a few others. And so I guess my initial prediction was I thought like, okay, this movie, it might make somewhere between 200-300 million. It's at $1 billion right now. So, I mean, they are well off right now. I mean, they're hitting a success. They're hitting the box office. So I got to give them the credit. They did an amazing job. That was pretty good for them. And as far as the cast, Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike, Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek. Kamek? I forgot how that name was pronounced. I don't even remember. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. You get it. This movie was released on April 5th, so just about a month ago, and they're already at over $1 billion. So they made $900 million off their $100 million budget. So amazing for them. So I give credit where it's due, and congratulations to the cast and for doing such an amazing job. And a lot of the people who put this movie together, the directors, the producers, the music people, the consultants, everybody. I mean, you did it. What a success. So I'm sure that there probably would be some sequels in the future for other families and other fans to enjoy. So other than that, if you're interested in this type of stuff, I suggest go check it out.